Hey, how's it going? Mike Walsh here from Straight Path Solutions. I'm just trying to do this whole record a thought for the day on a daily basis. So, just a quick thought occurred to me while I was just outside. Actually, I'm still dirty. Not that dirty, but yeah, you can see it on my elbow a little bit. I was just doing some work on the tractor. We're planting a garden, pretty big garden actually. Yesterday morning, the garden was going to be maybe 150 by 100 feet. I decided to just plow the whole or disc harrow and rototill the whole field. Anyway, while I was out there, I was doing a lot of things, thinking, praying, relaxing, and towards the end getting angry. But two lessons came to mind that I wanted to share with you. One is I'll try and get some pictures up on my blog. I'll probably write a blog post about this. But one of the lessons is last year when 2 years ago, we first moved into our house, and the field across the street, nice field, but it was getting overgrown and wild and woolly with some brush, and I went out there with the brush hog attachment on my tractor, and I mowed it. I think I mowed it twice. Once when we first got the tractor because I was a new tractor and I wanted to use it, and then a second time towards the end of the season. Then last year, it was just as bad as it was the first year. And we had a neighbor, a farmer. Actually, I talked about him in that mentoring and the mentor video yesterday. He came up with his attachment, and he came over and actually did a three bottom plow or two bottom plow, and he plowed the field. And in doing so, in New England, when you plow a field in New England, a lot of rocks come up. There's probably a lesson there, but a lot of rocks came up when he did that. But the field was starting to look nice. And I disc harrowed it a couple times last year, and that was all I did. But this year, even though we plowed it, which is really breaking the ground up and digging all the ground up and turning all the soil over, even though we did that, and even though I harrowed it, this year it was a tough field to work with. All the same bushes and vines and really deep rooted soil, plants and hard clumps of grass and blueberries and all the stuff over there came back. Came back with a vengeance. Poison ivy too. So the lesson there that I think applies to technology and really anything, that this could be a sermon on sin. But just because you plow a field, just because you clean something up and get things going right, doesn't mean it's going to stay good. If you think about your environment, when's the last time you've done a health check in your SQL Server? When's the last time you've proven that everything in your SQL Server environment is set up right? If it's been a few years, what's happened since then? I didn't go out there and do things. I didn't have time every day to go, attack each root and each weed as it came up. And you don't have time each day to go in there and attack each problem or each symptom that comes up in your environment. The point, though, is left to its own devices, entropy happens. Left to its own devices, bad things happen. It's just, it's thermodynamics. It happens. So take a proactive stance. Make the time each week to spend an hour or 2 hours being proactive. The second lesson is I didn't get all the rototilling done, so I had rototilled yesterday quite a lot. Then today I took the rototiller off and put on the disc harrows, and I harrowed the field a couple times, and then I rototilled the final time. And the beginning part, the top part of the hill, which is drier and a little warmer, we've had a lot of rain and cool weather here in New England, so the warmer, drier soil rototilled a lot nicer. I had to do some work at it still today, and then as I started going down the hill, the stuff down here was wet, a little more wet, a little closer to the trees. It's still full sun, but it was just a little cooler and a little wetter. And man, was that a pain. It was going really rough. I was literally going, I would press the throttle or the HST forward motion on the hydraulics and inch the trailer or the tractor forward just a hair. Then I'd stop and let the rototiller go. And the whole time I'm cranking back like this, watching the rototiller the whole time. Because it kept getting stuck in the weeds and the rocks and the muck or the mud underneath. It's actually good loam, but it's really wet because we haven't had a lot of dry time. So I started getting mad. I started getting frustrated. And I found myself starting to do things quicker and getting more frustrated and just kind of being angry, like, oh, why is this taking so long? So I decided to stop. That's a new thing, Normally I would just keep on going and kind of let my anger get the better of me. And by doing that, something bad would happen, right? By letting my anger get the better of me, we'd probably be having a different video about a stuck tractor and calling a neighbor for help, or a broken rototiller, or a flipped tractor. Thankfully that didn't happen. It is kind of hilly out there. But I stopped. I said, I'm getting angry. I'm frustrated. It's time to stop. Sometimes we need to do that when we're troubleshooting. I can count on, I can count on many, many hands. If I had more hands, I could count on all of them. The number of times I've seen shoddy, poor troubleshooting in the midst of a crisis by people who are angry, nervous. Maybe they don't have the muscle memory or the training to do it. I can think just recently of a client who reached out to me and said, hey, Mike, we just had some downtime. We lost some data. And, when talking to them through the situation, I think what happened was it was just sort of a comedy, not comedy of errors. Comedy is the wrong word, but a series of errors and a series of problems that sort of bounced into each other. And it was mainly the biggest problem was people who were in the heat of the moment, who got that tunnel vision, that anger and frustration and panic, and they didn't have that outside vision, that calm voice. One of the things I love talking about at presentations is airline disasters, because there's a lot of great lessons in airline disasters for technologists. And one of the common themes when it comes to human error is that panic and that sort of anger is the wrong word, but kind of panic and lack of focus. So that's it. Be focused. When you feel like the anger is about boiling up, walk away. Take a break. Ask for some help. Get somebody else's opinion. Even before that point, ideally. And then the other point is, don't let your field get full of trees and weeds. You have to keep at it. You have to plow it every few months. You have to plow it or till it or harrow it or brush hog it. Same thing with your SQL Server environments. If it's in set it and forget it mode, you're missing the boat, and something bad's potentially happening. Do a health check. You can download my checklist for 8 points that can help you. You can go on the internet and you can search. There's a lot of great health check tools out there. You can work with a company like StraightPath or any of the great SQL Server consultancies out there and get that. But be proactive. Find out what's wrong and deal with it. That's all. Hope you're having a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.